If you intend to learn Persian language, whether for fun, traveling, or any other purpose, you can watch this video to learn a few general points that might be helpful. So, stay tuned. Hello everyone, my name is Narges, meaning daffodil flower, and in this channel I talk about Iran, Persian language, and myself as an Iranian. So if you're interested in any of those topics, please subscribe so that you can see future content on any of those. That being said, let's get to what I thought could be interesting or important to people who consider learning Persian. First of all, why learn Persian? If you're a language enthusiast like myself and you dream of being a polyglot one day, the mere fun and pleasure of learning a new language would suffice and you won't need any other reason. But besides that, Persian language ranks among the world's 20 most widely spoken languages. So if you're going to travel to Iran, Afghanistan, or Tajikistan, it would be useful. Also, it would be a gateway to read and learn some rich poetry and literature. And guys, believe me, Persian poetry in general and the ancient ones in particular are not even comparable with English ones, so it would be worth trying. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased or something, because here I try to be as honest as possible, and I can say that in some other areas, English is much richer than Persian. For example, when it comes to making new words, English language could be said to be much more productive. It's much easier to make new words in English compared to Persian. For example, I know that there are many English words that were nouns at the beginning, but then they came to be used as verbs also. For example, you have a face and then you have to face something. This can rarely be the case in Persian, and it's much more difficult to make new words, as I said. But in terms of poetry, Persian language is much richer. I mean, in terms of prosody, rhyming, and rhythm, it's really unique. Continuing with why you would want to learn Persian, you would get familiar with a new world of Persian songs and therefore the unique Persian dance. The second point I'd want to dwell on is the difference between written and spoken Persian or formal and informal Persian, which is huge, ladies and gentlemen, huge, or as some of you would say, huge. I love this word. Especially in the case of Iranian Persian, or Farsi as we call it, which is the endonym, because the Persian that is spoken in Afghanistan and Tajikistan is a bit different in this regard, and therefore I cannot comment on that. Written or formal Persian is used in books, the news, and newspapers, and the spoken or informal version is used in daily conversation. And why is this important? Well, a lot of courses teaching Persian to foreigners, whether online or in person, teach the formal or written form, which is never used in colloquial conversation. And if you speak the written or formal Persian, you'll sound awkward or even hilarious, and chances are you won't understand the daily Persian conversations. So in my opinion, either learn the two forms at the same time or learn the spoken version first. Otherwise, your Persian would be like my Arabic, because we studied Arabic at school for years and years, but because the emphasis was mostly on perfect grammar and structure, the average Iranian cannot possibly make a simple conversation in Arabic, which is a shame. The next point would be the Persian alphabet. It's totally different from English, and it would be completely new too, especially because it's written from right to left. I think it would be better if you start learning Persian by learning a few words and simple conversation, and then go about learning how to write it. Although I myself am a terrible perfectionist and would love to learn everything from the very beginning to the very end. My next point is about how Persian language sounds. Apart from two guttural sounds that we have, which are kh, like khab, which means sleep, and q, like qashuq, which means spoon, most other Persian consonants and vowels are pronounced or articulated in the front of your mouth or oral cavity, linguistically speaking. And that's why your voice would sound really different when you speak Persian compared to when you speak English. And I experienced this when I used to teach English to Iranian adults, because in the classroom we were not allowed to speak Persian, and only English was allowed. But when it came to the exam, I was allowed to explain a few points in Persian, and every one of my students was shocked and said, "Oh my God, your voice is so different." Actually, I can make a video in Persian if you want to see the difference. Another point on pronunciation, which will be incredibly helpful if you want to sound like a native speaker when you speak Persian, is that the majority of Persian words have the stress on the last or at least the second syllable of the word rather than the first one. And it's important because I've noticed many people who have English as their native language tend to put the stress on the first syllable of most Persian words. For example, the word surat, which means face. Most foreigners pronounce this as surat, and they put the stress on the first syllable rather than the second one, and therefore they sound adorably foreign. And the way you should pronounce your R's in Persian is another story I will cover in a future video. So these were a few points I thought would give you a general idea about Persian language before you start learning. If you enjoyed my video, please like it and share it. Also subscribe my channel and tap the bell icon so that you get notifications on my future videos, because I intend to make videos about different topics in Persian language, for example, how to greet in Persian. And don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and topic suggestions. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Goodbye.